Hello. So, this is a question I actually get asked quite a lot, and people always want to know what the best tanks are for the Asgard guild raid bosses. Obviously, Isaac is one. Like, Isaac is obviously like the go-to tank, but people are like, well, what about the other teams? What tanks do I need for them? Like, if I've said long said that you're kind of making the second teams almost a lost cause because you can't do near as much with the second team as the first one, but there are some tanks you can consider. Right, so in addition to Isaac, there is Aurora, like Rainbow Halo, protects her versus the defensive Seers. So you can just put like Oliver Patron on her, plus Rainbow Halo. She will tank like a champ. And then you could put heroes like Corvus and stuff behind her to do like pure damage and whatnot. Like so I had pretty good results this week with Aurora Corvus, got like 3 million damage, which is a far cry from what I get with the Stone Cold line. But, like I said, Aurora here, like I said, with Corvus behind her for pure damage. Another one is Alvanor. Alvanor, like once he uses ult, he's invincible. And then, like I said, you can do all the magic stuff. But we'll watch this one. We'll run this really quickly just to kind of show you, like, what happens. Like, so we got... Like I said, I'm probably not gonna use Yasmin again. Yasmin just seems to suck with this. Like Yasmin is really disappointing. Like she just dies, but that's a lot of pure damage. Ruby dies to the minions, to the shadows though, because Yasmin's just not cutting it for this line. So I'll probably have to try something else. But this one though, if like you want to watch Alvanor, we'll again run this quickly. But once he uses ult, he is invincible. See all those blocks? He's invincible to the defense spheres because it's basic attack. And then you can dump all these magic attack buffs up here, which boosts all these magic heroes. Right? Celeste also buffs magic attack, but we get nightmared, but we do have Albus here doing some damage, so it works. We end up eventually dying. Again, these are 150 bosses, so again, like I said, you know, Alvanor's not strong. My Helios is kind of worthless, so I haven't quite figured out what else to put in that line, but my head behind Alvanor definitely works. Heidi would probably be really good here, but my Heidi's not developed. So let's go talk about a couple of other tanks, because I don't have these tanks developed. But I've talked, like, Rufus is really good versus... He's really good versus, the boss in, Asgard guild raids, right? So he absorbs magic damage. This is ult here, which again is good for defense tiers, but also he cannot be killed with magic damage. He can only die to the meteor showers. So he's a really good tank versus Osh the Keepers, like, because he's not going to die except to the nightmares. So, like, he can be very good, and then you can build a team behind him. And the last hero we want to talk about is... He's also, just like Isaac, he's not technically a tank, or Alvanor's not a tank. Notice how most of these heroes are not tanks. And this hero is Markus. Right, his Holy Shield blocks any damage for 5 seconds and heals the ally. The hero is the lowest health. Obviously, if he's in the front, this almost always goes on him if he's the tank. And plus he buffs magic defense, so this will reduce the damage from the defense tiers more. So he ends up being a very good tank, plus he's a healer. So then you can just put a bunch of like damage dealers behind him. Who those are, again, just really depends what you have. But people always want to know like what the 5 best tanks are, and we can just want to show them in a lineup here. This might make it easier. We don't really need to do max here. But Markus, Alvanor, and Rufus. Right, so these 5 heroes are generally going to be your best options for tank. And always use Oliver. All of these heroes can use Oliver patrons. So whoever's in front, you always want to have Oliver on them. So they can have that regen. Don't matter who else you got going, but they do need to have Oliver. Like I said, so you just like I said, so if you're trying to do more than one line, so if you have your Stone Cold line with Isaac, or I said Stone Cold, well, just to remind you, is Sebastian, Jew, Isaac, Nebula, Martha. That's Stone Cold. And like I said, so that's called the Stone Cold line. You have Oliver on Isaac. And then if you're trying to do other lines with like other tanks, like I said, you know, like I had Corvus here behind Aurora. Right, like I said, then you fill that in. And then you'll have like an Alvanor line, and then you'll have a Rufus line, etc., etc. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video fun and informative. Thank you for watching.